People who win the lottery, the current statistics are 21% of them go broke. Some of them, even while they're receiving the payments. They're so deep in debt, they can't get out of the debt, even with $500,000 a year payments or more. What is the lesson here? The same lesson, whether you're going to win the lottery, Sterling, or you're not. And that is, before you make the money.
Hi, welcome to this episode of Stacks Over Tax. I'm Sterling Grace, and this is Mark Lewis. And today we're going to talk about playing the lotto. Now, I am completely convinced that I'm going to win the lottery. And I play because I am so convinced that the universe, one of the things about winning the lottery is if you won the lottery once, your likelihood to win the lottery twice is much, much higher. And I am an adopted mom, and I am 1,000% convinced that the universe had me win the lottery in the kid world, and I didn't even buy a ticket, right? It's the most amazing thing that ever happened in life. Totally miraculous, fabulous story. And so, given that evidence, I obviously play the lottery because clearly it's going to happen again. But what I don't exactly know about is this whole, should I take it all at once? Should I let them make payments to me? Man, does that seem like a crazy idea? So I thought I'd ask Mark about his opinion, just sort of the math of those two things and how that works out. Because lately, the lottery has been insane. It's been like $1 billion. And so, two, right? So what happens for that day so that I can prepare myself and, maybe some other people out there would want to prepare themselves as well. What's going to happen that day that I win the lottery? Am I checking, give it all to me at once, or give me a little bit because, how do I manage it?
Yeah, it's such a great question. And not every state allows you to take the whole lottery or once or make payments. But in some states, it's paid out over years in order to get your tax bracket down. So you pay less tax. We're in a graduated tax situation. So the top tax tier in America is 37%, which is really gross. And that doesn't even count if you are where Sterling is in California, it's another 10%, 47%. So if you made, round figures, won $1 billion, you're going to lose 470 million of it. In fact, probably more actually, because there's other fees that go along with that. So that's not that great. But if you could have it paid out to you over the course of many, many years, now in this case, that'd have to be, 2,000 years, probably, to get that below the 37 threshold, then does that make sense? And that doesn't make any sense when it comes to this giant lottery. But any lotteries that are below, say, 10 million, then it could make sense because distributed over 26 years, those payments are below $500,000. And now your tax bracket's no longer at 37%. It's well below that, especially if you're married filing jointly, could be below 30%. Still not great, but better. And you're saving hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on the lottery money you're getting. But does it make sense to do that? Well, look at it this way. Even if you took all of the lottery money at once and paid a 50+% tax hit for it, and you got less than 50% of it, the question to ask is, over the course of the next 26 years, could you double the money? Yes, you only got half. But could you double the money over the next 20 years so that you got value? Otherwise, if you can't, then it's probably better to take the payments. But if you're taking payments, what's happening is the state is holding on to your money and then doling it out to you, and you don't have access to it. Is that good? So doesn't it make sense to take one big, large chunk? They take a big chunk of tax out of it, but now you have full access to it, and then you can invest it. Now, I know you're going to spend it on, you're going to buy your Gallardo, or you're going to do whatever your Ferrari is, or something. Hopefully not, because it would be much better to buy those things out of the proceeds of the investments that you made with the $1 billion. It wouldn't be billion, it'd be 850, I think is what it was, or 900 million by the time you're done with taxes. So at 900 million, you ought to be able to turn that around, turn that over in 5 years. And if you could do 5-year turnover, another 5, another 5, another 5, 5 times 5, 25, 30, 40x, that could, or 20, 30, 40x, that could make you a billionaire if you knew how to invest. But here's your problem. The biggest problem isn't knowing which way to take it. What, Sterling, do you think the biggest problem with lottery winners is?
All the people that come out of the woodwork. Kind of. Maybe.
I mean, yeah, really. I mean, if you had people who were friends and family on one hand when you were whatever you are now, and then all of a sudden you're a high 9-figure person, your relationships are going to change. There's no question about that.
Sure.
And that may factor into what the biggest problem is, which ends up being that people who win the lottery, the current statistics are 21% of them go broke. Some of them, even while they're receiving the payments, they're so deep in debt, they can't get out of the debt, even with $500,000 a year payments or more. So what is the lesson here? That is the same lesson, whether you're going to win the lottery, Sterling, or you're not. And that is, before you make the money, know where it's going to go. And know how you want it to be taxed, and know how the investments are going to be protected against lawsuits. Because just because you win the money doesn't mean there's 400,000 other ways for people to take it from you as you deploy it into the marketplace. So be real cognizant of what are you going to do with the money so that you don't go, oh, I'm going to spend it. It's just like those NFL guys that work in the NFL for 3, 4, maybe 5 years and then get an injury. And they make a bunch of millions of dollars and then they blow it all. And now they're working at Walmart for the rest of their lives without any way to get it back. You don't want to be that person. And all of us have, at some point in our lives, a maximum earning area in our lives. Some people have in their 30s or 40s. Some people have in their 60s or 70s. It really depends on what you've been doing, what you're planning. You don't want to blow that earning area because it may not come again. So know how you're going to deploy that, whether it's into stocks or bonds or crypto or real estate or offshore or business or whatever that is, so that you can eventually, the dream being not just winning the lottery, but taking that money and then moving into investments so that your bills are paid by your investments. And if you can do that, then you can do the things that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are doing, which are taking the assets, buying shares, taking the shares to the bank loaning you money, and now your principal doesn't have to be touched. It's sitting at the bank safely because they'll keep your principal safe. And then you're living on borrowed money, which takes no tax to receive.
Wow, that was so much to think about. Now, I am curious, though. So when you win the lottery, what's the number one purchase that you want?
The purchase, like a non-investment oriented purchase.
Yeah, like just something for fun. Like, oh, if money were no object, what would you buy?
Thanks so much for joining us here on Stacks Over Tax. And if you have enjoyed being with us so far as much as we've enjoyed being with you, smash that subscribe button and make sure you hit the little bell for notifications so that every time we put out a new video or any other kind of content, you're notified and you can have the great time again with us. Thanks so much. I think I would have in my backyard, I'd create a go-kart track with go-karts.
Yeah.
And then I would make a helipad with a hangar, and then I would buy a nice Bell helicopter, like a 5-seater.
Nice. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't even think that needs as much money as it seems like it would.
No, you're probably into the go-kart track is, if you do it right, it's $100,000, $120,000. Really right. With berms and, not just flat, but you're going to go somewhere. And then the helicopter, $1.5 million. And then the hangar, $600,000. So you're into it for 2.5, let's say.
Nice. I like it. I think I would buy some horses.
Oh, some horsies.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun.
But you're going to have to buy more than horsies, though, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you need all kinds of things for horses, right? They have to have someplace to live. They have to have, food and good hay. And it would be nice.
Lots of land for them to roam.
Land, right. And
Yeah,
I've done equine therapy, so I would really want some horses that had been natural horsemanship raised, which is a different process than
yeah.
most horses are raised. They're not broke and things like that. So not terribly expensive, but they do have their own unique needs. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe some
That's
horses.
a
Yeah, and a
that's
sonic
such
ice machine that makes that little crunchy ice. Oh,
oh
really
yeah.
want one of those. I actually know exactly like the model and everything. I just need a space in the garage big enough for the sonic ice machine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's such a great example too of how a lot of people and I know you know what comes with horses, but a lot of people will say, "Oh, a horsey," and you're like, "Oh, there's a lot of money that goes with that horsey."
Yeah.
And one of the things the same with me is like, "Oh, a helicopter, yay!" and a hangar and a mechanic because you got to have it updated every 100 hours, and the gas and the delivery of the fuel. Where's that going?
Right.
Again, it's a great idea. It's a great thing of like, oh, I want a Ferrari. Do you though? Do you really though? If you're going to drive it, drive it. I mean, that it's going to have more repairs than my helicopter is by the time you're done with it. So you got to really think about these things.
Yeah. And certainly nicer in Tennessee than in Los Angeles to be rolling around in a Ferrari in our smog filled, filthy air. So
yeah, we do have long roads that are actually quite well made for a Ferrari at 150 probably. Now the state troopers might not like it so much, but you just pay them off.
Then you need a fund for your
fund. Yes, yes,
Yes.
That's right. A fund. And make sure you take the judge out to golfing as much as possible.
Yes. A long time ago when I worked in the automotive industry, I used to sponsor a rally race that happened across America. And one of the things we would sponsor is we'd pay the first ticket because there's going to be tickets along the way. So it's just somebody's going to have to go first. So we would pay the first speeding ticket or whatever that occurred. So fun. But that was a long time ago in a land far, far away. So, but yes. Very fun. Thanks for catching us all up on what we're going to do with our lottery winnings and some thoughts about how we're planning for that. As always, what's what we do here at Executive Money Strategies? We help people with their entire wealth planning concept. So from taxes to assets to making sure that they don't get up in probate. And let us know how we can help you.